Welcome to section 4.15, part 2. This is the 51st session of the ISACA CISA exam prep series. This part picks up where the last one left off. In this session, we'll continue the business continuity plan. We'll answer several questions. What goes into developing the plan itself? Who must be involved and what are its components? What role does insurance play? How do you test the plan properly? How do you keep it current? And how does an auditor review the whole thing? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because a plan on a shelf is worthless. Picture a payments company that wrote a plan years ago and never tested it. When a real outage hits, nobody knows their role. The contacts are stale and the assumptions are wrong. A continuity plan only works if it is built well, tested, and maintained. Get that right and recovery is orderly. Get it wrong and you have paperwork, not protection. What actually goes into developing the plan? You build it from your impact analysis and chosen recovery strategy. Several factors deserve attention. Pre-disaster readiness and incident response. Clear evacuation procedures. Rules for when and how to declare a disaster. Because not every interruption is a disaster. A small, unhandled incident can grow into one. Spell out responsibilities and who owns each function. Include contact information and step-by-step recovery processes. List the resources needed to recover and keep running. Write it in plain language anyone can follow. Organise it by team and keep copies off-site. Who must be involved in building it? The people who own the most critical resources. Management and user involvement are vital. Users help identify critical systems and recovery times. 3 groups especially must take part. Support services, who detect the first signs of trouble. Business operations, who feel the impact. And information processing support, who run the recovery. And think about the whole organisation, not just technology. Extend the plan to every unit that depends on systems. What are the actual components of the plan? A continuity plan may be several documents. 3 are core. A continuity of operations plan, a disaster recovery plan, and a business resumption plan. Others may join them: a crisis communications plan, an incident response plan, and an evacuation plan, among others. When you agree on the planning and evaluation phase, settle a few things: the governing policies and the goals for each phase, the alternate facilities and critical resources to deploy, the people responsible, and a schedule with clear priorities. How do you reach the right people in a crisis? With a call tree. Think of it as a ranked contact list for the people who decide. It lists who to call in priority order and how to reach them. Keep it highly redundant and updated regularly. Hold it on hard copy because systems may be down. Remember that a daytime disaster may leave many leaders unreachable. Include vendors, suppliers, recovery sites, and insurers. And build in a way to confirm how many people you actually reached. What about the supplies you need to operate? The plan must provide for them. Keep detailed hard copy procedures that unfamiliar staff can follow. Secure special forms off-site like check stock and order forms. If data entry depends on specific hardware or software, provide it at the recovery site. The same goes for cryptographic equipment and security keys. What role does insurance play? It cushions the financial blow of a disaster. A technology policy is usually built from modules. You assemble coverage to match your environment. There are many types. Coverage for equipment and facilities. Coverage to reconstruct damaged media and software. Extra expense coverage to keep operating after damage. business interruption coverage for lost profit, coverage for valuable papers and records, errors and omissions coverage for professional liability, fidelity coverage for dishonest employee acts, and coverage for media in transit. Watch two limits closely. Most policies pay for historical, not current performance, and none of them restores lost reputation or goodwill. How do you test the plan properly? Most exercises stop well below a complete all-out run. That is fine, but do not skip testing entirely. A test reveals how well the plan works and what needs fixing. Schedule it to minimize disruption, often on a weekend. Involve the key recovery team members fully, and simulate real prime-time conditions, even after hours. A good test verifies the plan's completeness. It evaluates personnel and their training. It checks coordination with outside vendors, and it measures the backup site's capacity to process. How is a test actually run? In 3 phases. The pre-test sets the stage, like installing backup equipment. The test is the real action, where staff perform their tasks. The post-test is the cleanup and the honest evaluation. You also choose a test type by ambition. A tabletop test walks through the plan on paper. A preparedness test simulates a crash with real resources in increments. And a full operational test shuts down operations entirely. Start simple and grow more challenging over time. How do you judge whether a test succeeded? Measure it. Do not just eyeball it. Document every observation, problem, and resolution as you go. Then gauge the results against your objectives. Look at time to complete tasks. Look at the amount of work done at the backup site. Count the records and systems successfully recovered. And check the accuracy of the data entered versus normal. Numbers turn a vague impression into real evidence. How do you keep the plan current? You review and update it regularly. Several things can make a plan obsolete. Changing business processes or new departments. New applications or shifting priorities. Hardware and software changes or new threats. And staffing turnover among leaders or updated ways to reach them. A coordinator owns this maintenance. They schedule reviews and call unscheduled ones when big changes hit. They arrange tests and fold the results back in. They train recovery staff and keep records of it all. And they refresh the contact directory at least quarterly. Are there frameworks that guide good practice? Yes, several bodies publish guidance. Industry institutes for continuity and disaster recovery professionals, government emergency management and standards agencies, financial regulators and health information rules, and an international standard for continuity management systems. The overall process is a clear sequence. Assess risk, then prioritize critical systems and threats. Prepare impact analyses and choose recovery controls. Develop the recovery and continuity plans. Then test them and maintain them as the business changes. How does an auditor review all of this? You evaluate the strategy and its link to business objectives. Start with the documents. Obtain the current policy, plan, and impact analysis findings. Confirm distributed copies are current and the plan supports the strategy. Then review the applications covered. Check that critical applications are identified and prioritized, and that the secondary site has compatible software versions. Next, review the teams. Get the member lists and the backup facility agreements. Call a sample of people to confirm details and that they hold a current plan. Then examine testing. Review how tests are documented and whether procedures are followed. Study prior test results to see if fixes were incorporated. Inspect off-site storage for current synchronized media and supplies. Evaluate the facility's physical and environmental security. Interview key personnel to confirm they know their roles. Review the alternative processing contract carefully. Check it is clear, legally reviewed, and guarantees access and testing rights. And review insurance coverage against the real cost of recovery. So let's bring it together. Develop the plan from your impact analysis in plain language. Involve support, operations, and processing staff across the whole organization. Know its components, the call tree, and the supplies it needs. Use insurance wisely, but know its limits. Test in phases, measure the results, and maintain the plan through a coordinator. And audit the documents, applications, teams, testing, storage, and contracts. Master this, and your plan becomes real protection, not just paper. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.